And so I think this really gets to the root of why this is important. The reason why it's so important for us to understand transactional and transformative leadership is that there is a direct correlation to employee engagement. And employee engagement is directly linked to retention and turnover. And so the more that we focus on understanding where our teams fall on this transactional, transformative paradigm, the easier it will be for us to understand how we can better retain them, assuming that's something that we want to do. Now, if it's a situation where we don't necessarily want to retain them, then have at it. But if you are looking to save time and money and keep your people, you really want to spend the time to understand where they fall and then how you can best work with them within that paradigm. So not just doing what you're comfortable with, but really spending the time to understand, okay, so if this works for this person and that works for that person, then perhaps that will help me to keep my team together a little bit longer. And ultimately, isn't that what we're looking to do, right? We're looking to save time and money so that we don't necessarily have to do searches and and things like that. Because as someone who has organized a lot of searches and conducted many interviews, there is a whole lot of time and money that goes into that process. And so why would we subject ourselves to that unnecessarily, right? I think sometimes we forget about that factor. Like we forget about the employee engagement component because we don't really talk about it a lot, right? And I guess that's something I wanted to address today is talking about employee engagement and why it's so important and how we can contribute to employee engagement through this lens of transactional and transformative leadership. Now, one of the things that I think is important for us to look at is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You may be wondering, why Maslow's? Well, one, it's a concept I'm comfortable with because it was my research. And two, I think it provides us with a very general understanding of how employee engagement is important in the workplace, particularly because Maslow's wasn't really designed to look at one's needs in the workplace. However, his concept has been adapted in so many different ways that it's just universally known, or at least universally understood. Like I've seen it adapted in understanding like parenting and how to work with students, and in my case, understanding how it is applied in the work setting. And there was actually an individual whose name is unfortunately leaving me, but I will be sure to include his article on my website where he takes the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and applies it in a work setting to understand how and why employee engagement is important.